shortage of local eggs and meat for Christmas are directly correlated to the COVID-19 pandemic. These are the words of President of the Grenadian Association of Poultry Producers, Jason Phillip, who says preliminary findings are that farmers would have lost around 50% of business transacted between 2019 and 2020. Several challenges arose in 2020, which included an emergency supply of feed being imported as a result of the local meal being affected by COVID-19 and farmers losing thousands of birds. Dating back to 2018, in which the island also experienced a slight shortage of local eggs and meat, farmers were asked to produce more.
And as such, during the whole period of 2019, there were significant increases in production. We had a lot of backyard farmers who introduced production into the system, and we saw for the Christmas of 2019 a significant increase in production, whereby we had a surplus at the end of 2019. The surplus was so significant that all into February of 2020, we still had supermarkets trying to dispose of eggs, which they had during the Christmas period.
However, Philip explains that the excess from 2019, together with the pandemic, brought about insurmountable losses to most farmers.
Because during the course the first quarter of 2020, sales of eggs dropped significantly, almost to zero for the first quarter of 2020. Coupled with the fact that in March of 2020, we started experiencing the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and the lockdown and other things which directly affected farmers negatively, saw a huge reduction in flocks across the nation.
He adds that farmers had to absorb 100% of those losses with no safety nets available and being directly affected by the economic shocks.
Looking now at the 2020 calendar year and all of the challenges that we have faced throughout this year, significant numbers of our farmers have really either retired their flocks, they have had to lessen on their production so as to keep themselves into a viable production, because during the course of this year, there was not large consumption of the eggs and meats as was projected for 2020.
Another factor the president says needs to be considered is the loss of business due to St. George's University not operating at full capacity.
The traditional sense of the American culture sees the consumption of eggs on a daily basis. They contribute to a significant sum of the consumption during the course of the year. However, in December, the school usually goes on recess, and with the university being on recess, that overflow of eggs goes into the society and help peters out some of the shortages that farmers who supply the local supermarkets or so would have. It normally helps, and we don't see a major shortage.
Noting the lack of spending power as another major hindrance in 2020, Philip is however encouraging farmers to continue producing with hopes of a brighter 2021. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.